Dukes of Sports. I'm Randy Lively with
Paul Perry.
And for those of you who are our regular viewers, Paul is taking over for Andrew. Andrew didn't get fired or anything, even though he gave me a hard time about my age. But no, Andrew.
He doesn't know my age then.
Andrew just got too busy doing work for that he's actually getting paid for. So Paul graciously is stepping in, and actually you see some of Paul's own work from time to time on this station too, with hockey and football. And
yeah, we're in the process of getting we made arrangements to do 10 football games this year locally, Bourne High School and Bourne UCT football. So they'll be on your local Sandwich community television.
You should have had Bourne last year when they won the Super Bowl.
Well, I had a medical problem last year myself, and that's in the 1 year that I had to take a break. They go undefeated, but yeah. So
and just so you know, this show is on 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. In the evenings at 7, and then Saturday morning at 8. And we tape on Wednesday, so try to keep that in mind when we're talking about stuff, because it may be sometimes we refer to yesterday. It's not always the case, but and you're going to at least for the time being see all of our underwriter spots at the end of the show. That may change, but for now that's the way it's going to be. So I ask you to be nice and stay tuned to the very end and watch all of them and hear about them. There are 6 great businesses, all local, the Cape and Sandwich, and there'll be a lot of good information about them. There's one of them is Coca-Cola, who also does Dasani water and almost anything else you can think of. Great company on the Cape. They do a lot of support for the community. Killen Grover, one of the biggest realtors, they got offices everywhere. I think they're the top lister and seller throughout the entire Cape. If you're buying or selling property, we've got the Sandwich Car Wash right in Sandwich on Route 130. Great little place. They've got things that you can get there. You can buy these passes that have like unlimited washes for a month, or you can buy passes that give you X number of washes with no time limit on it. They're a great deal. Heritage Floor Covering, they're just further up on 130 in Heritage Park. Great local business people have been around for forever. And Cheryl and Russell, husband and wife, they run the place, and any kind of flooring, they can do the installation, the whole 9 yards. Are super people, and great to do business with. We got the Sagamore Inn, wonderful food there. They do breakfast on the weekends. They have early bird specials, pretty much anything you can think of. And then we've got the Sandwich Animal Hospital. They handle, if you got a pet, they do pretty much everything. They've got their own pharmacy. You can have those chips inserted. They handle all kinds of pets. It's unbelievable. If that bear was still on the Cape, they probably could take it too. And let's see, am I forgetting anybody?
No, I think that's about it.
That's 6.
I've watched your show.
Killen, Grover.
That's 7. You mentioned 7 underwriters.
No, there's only 6. There's Coke, Killen, Grover, Sandwich Animal Hospital, Sandwich Car Wash, Sagamore Inn, and Heritage Florida. Yeah. So, but you'll hear a lot more information about them at the end of the show. Their phone numbers, their addresses, websites, and all that. So please, stay tuned and check them out, because they support not only us but Sandwich Community TV as well. And that's it for now. So let's talk some sports. Lots of ways to go. I'm curious, Penn State.
Okay,
NCAA smacked them with a $60 million fine, 4 years, absence from bowl games. I think there was a reduction in scholarships, that type of thing. For basically not doing due diligence with Sandusky, because, Paterno and everybody else from him on up, although I'm not sure that there is a president of that university, but I'm not sure he has as much power as Paterno does.
whatever they call them.
But I mean, Paterno's like a god,
Right.
He pretty much calls the shots, at least.
A lot of calls that way.
So, what do you think? Good?
My personal opinion, I've looked into it, and everybody has their own opinion, and what are we talking? 3 or 4 people who really made the big mistake here, from Sandusky being the criminal,
Yeah.
the guilty one, but to cover up maybe 3 more people.
Well, you had Paterno, you had the athletic director, you had the president, and I think there was one other guy.
So I've said to you before, when I say things sometimes, when I say 3 or 4, you can't hold me to the exact, so maybe it was 4 or 5. But they're the guilty party. So in my opinion, I don't think the student body should have been penalized at all. The student body did nothing wrong.
All right.
So the NCAA punishes now the football program. Now don't get me wrong. I know it's right or wrong, but the football program itself, there again, the players and the kids, they didn't do anything wrong. It was their superiors that did something wrong. Go punish them 100%.
Well, that's always the case when the NCAA
levels. The NCAA is like a lot of big organizations. They think they're stronger than God.
Yeah.
$60 million. Everybody's seen that figure in there. Plus there's another figure too that was saying like 10, 14 million on some other revenue that they're going to lose in the year. Where's that $60 million going? To the NCAA? Have you seen anything in the paper? Where is that money going?
I believe it's supposed to go to child abuse.
Right, okay, that's it. But I haven't seen a thing in the paper. I haven't seen anything. That doesn't mean it hasn't been there, or I don't, when I follow things, I don't follow it 100%. But yeah, because that's where that money should go. The $60 million, have a lottery across the country, split it in $500,000, so $60 million, what's that, 120 winners across the country, or give away 60 lottery winners, 2 groups like the abusive, what we're talking about, what Sandusky is guilty of. But if the NCAA gets that money, I'm 100% against that.
Yeah,
and there again, I just don't think.
I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Okay, but like there again, the student body, what did the student body do wrong to be punished? A lot of these kids were football players, and I'm not.
So what? They still get to play football.
Oh yeah, but now they lose a lot. They're in let's face it, Penn State was one of the top schools in the country, and scholarships and stuff like that. They don't have now kids who are coming. The kids who are freshmen right now are seniors in high school, and then they're not going to go to Penn State in the next 4 years. So I mean, they're going to be penalized for 4 years, but it's really going to be longer because then they got to build it up again.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's the way I feel.
Well, that's okay. You're wrong, but that's okay.
Okay.
Now, I want to ask, you remember SMU got the so-called death penalty a number of years ago.
Right.
What they did was nothing. I mean, the death penalty means you have no football program.
Right.
It's gone
Right.
for, I think it was like 2 years. But then you talk about having to rebuild. I mean, you're starting basically from scratch all over again. And I don't remember what the infractions were. It was probably recruiting violations, stuff like that.
I think it was.
Almost any infraction that the NCAA has leveled against any team is minor in comparison to Penn State. They were, you can get slapped around by the NCAA if you make too many phone calls to a recruit. I mean, a lot of it is ridiculous.
Right, well, a lot of them was the old laws and, you know, like when people, old rules, and when people say, well, even locally, when you have town rules and stuff, and you go to them and say, I'll give you one, just a quick one, like you, any place you go, they say, give me your phone number. And well, now in today's technology, you got everything besides my fingerprints wherever you go. You don't need phone numbers anymore. So you say to the person, why do you need my phone number? I don't really know, but that's what they tell us to do. Because that's what they did 30 years ago, because that's the way things are done. Rules the same way. It takes a while. They make a rule and then they don't change.
But all I'm saying is if SMU years ago got the death penalty, then Penn State still got off easy. $60 million. Now, what I would have liked to have seen is not so much the death penalty, but I mean, anytime the NCAA levels a penalty against a school, where they ban them from bowl games for a year or two, or they reduce scholarships, it always hurts the innocent. It's because it's the kids that came afterwards and whatnot.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, actually.
But, I mean, this was such a horrible offense. But to me, when you hurt somebody, the best way to do it in situations like that is you hurt them where it hurts the most, and that's in the pocketbook. So I would say, let them play football. You can even let them go to a bowl game. But, and again, this is going to hurt other departments. The money they make for X number of years, that goes towards donated to these, like they say they get into the Rose Bowl. Well, I mean, they split that money up, but I mean, that's worth millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
Penn State's probably not going to get there. They're not that good of a team. But nevertheless, whatever bowl game they go to, take all of those proceeds, and that goes to various agencies that help abused children.
Correct.
Whether it be in Pennsylvania or...
Across the country.
Well, if there's enough.
Right.
I mean, you got to have enough so that, you know, one agency isn't getting $1,000. That ain't doing nothing for them.
Correct.
But I'd like to see, let them play, but that money doesn't stay with the university. And again, that doesn't hurt the football program, but it hurts other departments.
True.
Because some of that football money is funneled throughout the university. So there's no way that the university itself, where innocent students or departments aren't going to get hurt. It's going to happen. But it still needs to happen. And my feeling is you've got to make this severe in order to send a message that this or anything like it better never happen again.
Right, that's very true. You know,
I'm talking about
devil's advocate.
Countrywide.
You really think, now we're old, you and I are up there in age. You think in our today, in our society, there are only one Sandusky around the country?
Of course.
Do you think that other than Penn State, the 4 or 5 people that we said, the NCAA or somebody in the NCAA had got wind of this years ago? I mean, devil's advocate. Everything's supposed to be, oh my God, it just happened. Come on, give me a break. I hate to say it. There's other places that it's going on.
I don't think so.
You know?
Well,
no.
Well, I'm talking about the Penn State situation. I don't think the NCAA knew about that because Colonel pretty much squashed everything.
Yes, but somebody always knows something.
Oh yeah, but you know, you don't go bucking paternal.
I see, and you're right, because it isn't only paternal. You could go back when Calipari was in UMass Amherst here, right here in this state, and he was gone up there at UMass Amherst.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, so all these guys.
Yeah, Marcus Camby.
Yeah, go back to Bear Bryant. You know,
Yeah, but still, nothing.
they are like God at those universities and colleges. I know what you're saying.
But they, you know, I don't think it went beyond the people that have already been identified. Some of them still are gonna be prosecuted.
Like you said to me a little while
They're
ago.
gonna be prosecuted for perjury.
I was wrong, maybe I think you're wrong.
No. We agree to disagree.
See?
But, you know, whether something like that is done at some other university, I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd like to think not, but, you know, you'd like to think priests weren't doing it.
Well, that's it. I wasn't going to touch that at all, but you're right. That's all I'm really trying to say is, you know,
But the point is, I think that the penalties need to be even more severe than they are, because at least athletically, and that's all we can talk about,
right.
is you gotta send a message that if somebody else is doing something similar or not even that serious, but if you know about
You
it,
got to do something
you
about
better
it.
do
You
it.
got
Deal with
to
it.
you got to come out and say you're right on that.
I mean, Sandusky, for crying out loud, you know, I don't know if he had pictures of Paterno or something, but, I mean, they allowed him, he had an office on campus.
Yeah.
Years after he was gone.
Yeah.
You know, he had full use of all the facilities there.
Then he run programs with on the side. I mean, for young kids. And, I mean, he had his own program. We'll say, you know, camps. We'll say. You know, I'm not trying to hold him to the exact words, but he was accessible to all these young kids.
He kind of had the run of the place, even though he didn't work there anymore.
Right.
And you know, the odd thing is, I mean, this guy was a respected defensive coach at Penn State for a number of years. You know, helped develop their famous, you know, Penn State was famous for their linebackers.
Right, definitely. And running backs. That's
and
the top running backs.
And Sandusky, you know, played a part in the coaching of the linebackers
Right.
and whatnot. But after he left Penn State, he never coached again, anywhere.
Well, through the grapevine, that's why I kind of implying, through the grapevine, people knew. Other people probably know.
Or,
they might be on their deathbed and didn't say, when they were on their deathbed, said, you remember the Sandusky thing 15 years ago?
Either that or...
Before I go see my maker, I want to say this. Good, I'll just...
Well, or it could have been that Paterno said, don't even think about applying for a job, because I'll make sure you don't get it.
How long has he been, as you said, when did he stop coaching?
Several years.
Just a couple of years?
No, several.
So, well, you know, because I've never, there again, I missed that one in the paper on the sense of the,
Well, I can't
when
say...
when he stopped coaching,
Oh,
as you said.
bet you it's a good 10 years.
Okay, all
maybe
right.
more.
All right, so that might have been Paterno's way to squash it. And like you said, you know, like you just said, you know, he probably kind of told them with closed doors, don't retire and be happy you are the way you are, you know, the way things are right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? We don't really know.
I mean, that
So
guy...
Dusty's going to tell you, and Paterno's...
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before on the show, but I mean, if I had anything to say about it, I'd lock him up.
Yeah.
And, no.
Go ahead. No, I'm not agreeing with you, but I can't, certain things I
No,
can't say.
lock it up, locking him up, oh, you can say almost anything you want.
Okay, I will when you're done.
But locking him up isn't enough. What you gotta do is you put him in a cell.
Got it, I'm with you
You
so
forget
far.
to lock his door. And you forget to lock his neighbor's doors.
You know, I hate to say
And
this.
you kind of not pay attention to the monitors, maybe, and just kind of let nature take its
I kind of
course.
hate to say this, you know, I've only met you roughly in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And, you know, we don't rehearse this. But that's exactly the way I feel. In different words, they put them in a room, and I've always said of these people that do things that are 100% guilty. Like the guy who walks into a convenience store and he pulls out a weapon, and right on the camera he shoots somebody and kills somebody. Then you got to go through this act of Congress to execute him possibly.
Yeah.
I've always believed, put him in a room, have the relatives come in, and do what they want with him, as you just basically said. Now, like I said, this show is not reversed.
Yeah.
Your opinions, I hate to say it, it's gotta be our era of growing up.
I don't know.
You know, I mean, if you're guilty, see, I'm a firm believer, in something like I said about the convenience store,
Yeah.
you're guilty. It shows you doing it. Why waste my money in rehabilitation?
Well, because there's some lawyer that will defend this guy.
Because it's, you know, there again, you know, I'm not gonna go on the technicalities of the lawyers, but come on, the man, the person, executed a person right in front of you. What? It isn't like I think he did it. Someone told me he did it. He did it.
Yeah, he's completely not
Get
guilty.
30 days to live.
Yeah.
That's it.
But no, I like the,
That is a vendetta type, I
I like
suppose.
the inmate thing.
Well,
Because,
it's the same idea.
well,
Inmates
because
a family.
even amongst criminals,
Yeah.
there's still,
They do have some
A
ethics,
code of
we'll say,
conduct.
code of conduct. And child abuse is one of them.
yeah,
The two that I've always been told is child abuse
yeah,
and the elderly.
yeah,
You leave those two alone, because if you don't leave those two alone, leave them in, as you say, the cell way. Mine is relative, yours is the cell.
yeah. No, he could have killed somebody. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
The
As long as
person-
that person wasn't a child or an elderly
Yeah,
person.
yeah, no, he'd be smoking and joking with the rest of them, but yeah.
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
I said, I just forget to lock a few doors and,
Yeah.
go have a cup of coffee for a while. All right. New England Patriots.
Yeah, I kind of.
Training camp's open,
Yeah,
great time of year, no injuries,
yeah.
so, clean slate. Pats did get some, defensive help, through the draft.
Correct.
What's your take on, obviously, you're looking into a crystal ball.
Right,
but-
that's the trouble,
but
like.
let's assume everybody's healthy,
Right.
stays that way. How do you think the Patriots stack up this year?
I just, it's unbelievable that organization, how they can keep rolling on at a high caliber that they are. I mean, it's like anything, we grew up, we're in a New England area, not that we expect our teams to be up there all the time. Other cities don't have that luxury. New England, Hightower, the kid. Yeah, he's a kid. That's one of your, and I look at him and, geez, I hope he does turn around, because every once in a while, the only thing we see personally with the Patriots organization, you'll follow a football team, other teams, and all of a sudden their first year they got this big defensive linebacker who's a star. Well, it seems like the Patriots don't, Mayo might be one of the rare, that all of a sudden when they come in, they make an impact. Patriots seem to like groom their guys. How many you start, you know what I'm saying, on an impact, like Mayo, right? He made an impact.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times the Patriot rookies don't make an impact right away, but Belichick does it his way.
Yeah.
And I think this year's going to be another good year.
Well,
barring massive injury.
The thing is, they really haven't developed what I refer to as a stud pass rusher.
Correct, and it's been a few years.
Too many.
Yeah.
And I think that, that puts too much pressure on the defensive backs.
Yeah. There's no two ways about
and,
that. That's football.
And that's what was number one on my wish list for the draft, was to get some
You think
stuff.
they did it this year, at least on paper?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. They had two top picks. One, I think is more of a lineman. I can't think of his name.
Well, that's what
Well, Hightower was one of them.
Right, and I couldn't think of the other kid's name too, and that's a shame. But it's early in the year.
He had this great preparation on my part. But anyways, I don't know if it's Jones or what, but, I don't know, because what they did in college doesn't always translate to the pros.
That's right, it's another step, it's a big step.
But my feeling is, on the offensive side of the ball, I don't see anybody stopping them unless they stop themselves.
Well, it's the old theory of, we'll go to baseball, but they do have such a core. I really don't know how, other than injuries, how can you keep them all happy as players? And that's what happens in the pros.
Well, they're not all going to make the team either.
Well, isn't it, even if they're all the ones that do make the team, it's hard to play. I mean, come on, let's face it, Gronkowski and Hernandez do not get hurt. They're going to play 95% of the game, correct? So if you've got a couple other tight ends, when are they going to get game time?
They're going to be in certain situations.
That's it. But I mean,
they're not even going to be there.
The Patriots do have another team like that, and that's from running the. We've heard it 20,000 times. Running it as a business. Times have changed. These ball players, they get good bucks, but then their time limit ends out on them, and now the organization is going to say, "Hey, we like you. We really do as a person, but we've got what we need out of you. But we got to get. You get another young guy he's coming up too. The Patriots have done it. We can't say any more than that.
No, but I mean offensively.
Yeah, offensively.
Now the running game. Question mark, because they let Ben Jarvis Green Ellis go.
Right.
He's with Cincinnati now. They cut Joseph Adai.
Right, that was a surprise.
So,
the way they rank things up, and that's why I don't listen to him.
Yeah, I thought he might have been a useful.
Right. Adai, was he the one from Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, injury prone.
Yeah.
But still in his late 20s.
Yeah.
You think he's got a little something left in the tank.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots, they kind of do a running back by committee.
Well, running backs, usually the history of running backs, 4 or 5 years.
Right.
That's just about.
Yeah, but
and then after that.
But he might have only been in for 10 or 12 plays.
Right.
I thought he could have handled that, but
they
got Ridley.
Yeah.
They still got Whitehead.
Yeah.
And they've got this other guy who was a rookie last year. He was hurt most of the year, named Vereen.
Right.
And
well, that's it. See, there's a lot of the stuff behind it you and I don't really know on how Belichick and his people think.
Yeah.
They see things that you and I don't
Ridley
really see.
Looked pretty good on most occasions. We got spoiled with Green Ellis because he never fumbled. Ridley did. Is that going to be a habit? Who knows? Vereen, we really don't know what he can do.
Right.
I mean, he might be something special. Who knows? But they always seem to manage to carve it together, the running game.
And the other thing Belichick's famous for is they'll go through their training camp. If they see some guy, they love the cut and the wire cuts.
Yeah.
Because they'll see somebody that maybe they can see Randy Lively. Hey, we can use him for 2 more years. He got cut from the Rams, the Jets, or something.
That's how they go.
They're always looking on that wire, and so.
Yeah, no, they picked up Whitehead from the Jets.
Yeah.
They cut.
Right.
And he's turned out to be a very serviceable back.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want him to be a featured back, but
two of the people right off the head is Whitehead and is it Whitehead? Danny Whitehead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Welker. Let's face it, those 2 guys. Look at the size of both of them, and look what they've. Welker, forget it. You cannot say what he's accomplished. But Whitehead has done very well with the Patriots. Yeah. But his years will end one of these years.
Oh yeah.
Welker
too, but.
Yeah, but a receiver. So receiver's not getting banged up.
I'm still a little PO'd at Welker for that pass he dropped him.
If he dropped that in the beginning of the game, people wouldn't even have thought of it. It's just like the Buckner era. The Buckner era was in the first inning. You know, but that's the way society is, and you say you're
well, the Buckner thing too is
disappointed.
everybody forgets that was only game 6.
And they also forget the wild pitch on the pass ball that that pitcher that Gadman didn't catch.
Yeah.
I mean, they crucified. We're off the subject, but they crucified.
Oh yeah.
You know, Bucky
Yeah.
there.
People are just starting
And
to get over that.
Giraldi was pitching. He didn't do very well as a, you know.
Oh,
and then
Calvin Schiraldi. Yeah, he had a great year, but he kind of
but that game, he's horrible, but you're right. He also throw that one in there. It was only the 6th game. That didn't mean you lost the World Series.
No, in fact, they had the lead in game 7 too, and couldn't hold it. But
like you said, we just said, Walker, I know you're disappointed. I'm not, I'm going to tell you that.
But I think, you know, they're probably going to lose some game to some team they should, because they won't be paying attention. But I see them, you know, winning probably at least 13. 13 and 3.
16 games schedule, or they go to 18?
No, 16.
16? Yeah, 11 to 12, 13, you're right. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs again. Their division, what? Who's strong in their division other than the next Jets?
Well, we don't
Buffalo supposedly is increased themselves.
Yeah.
And I say
they added a lot on defense through free agency and stuff during the offseason. Nobody seems to be talking about Miami, but Miami.
I was just going to say, Miami's they're rebuilding.
Yeah.
They're rebuilding.
They showed you something the last half of the year.
Miami's the type of team the Patriots used to be before they became very good. That one week, the Patriots, I used to go to the Patriot games way back. I mean, we're talking Fenway Park.
Yeah.
But when they were in shape, the stadium, and the Oakland Raiders were the team. This is when the Patriots were horrible in the 70s.
Oh, they were horrible for a long time.
And I sat there through those horrible games. But yet, one week you show up, and I can remember 2 teams every year that hated to come to Foxborough, and they was Oakland Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. Whenever they came to Foxborough, when Jim Plunkett was the quarterback and Steve Grogan, these are the years that we used to always say, all that poor Plunkett used to see was the sky, because he'd been on his back most of the time. But every time during the years, the Patriots would knock off somebody like the Oakland Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. Right now, that's what Miami is. I mean, they've got a better team than the ones I just described with the Patriots. But they're dangerous. Will they win the division? No, they shouldn't win the division.
Yeah.
Can they be a spoiler and like you just said, the Patriots are going to lose to a weaker team? Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
And Buffalo's been hurt, and Buffalo's probably in the same spot as the Patriots were in the 70s and 80s that they got great fans out there in Buffalo. You go live in Buffalo and you go to their park. I mean, it's cold up there and raw, but
I mean, there's worse places I could think of living.
Definitely.
But I don't know that I would say, hey, let's move to Buffalo. I mean, that wouldn't be, you know, anything that would even
The only thing I took Buffalo was Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
That's about it, the Canadian border.
So, but I think the defense, I mean, it's hard, you know, their defense, you know, I'm getting a little tired of this bend but don't break thing.
Correct.
Because, you know, the longer their defense is on the field, the less the offense is on, obviously.
Right.
So, you know, even if they, you know, don't give up a touchdown and maybe give up a field goal or something like that, but another team puts together a 5, 6, 7 minute drive, well, you know, that's depriving your offense a chance to keep scoring.
Right.
So I'd like to see them have a more of a shutdown defense, and you know, so that offense, because I think that offense can be a juggernaut.
Right.
So you want them out there, you know, as much as possible. And too many times I see that bend but don't break defense but they make it hairy near the end of
Oh,
games. And, yeah, I mean, they got to the Super Bowl with a, you know,
Nothing
a
outstanding
fair defense at best. So it's hard to say, well, gee, you know, they got to the Super Bowl, and
there's only 2 teams that got there.
and with a Wes Welker catch, might have won it.
Right.
Don't know for sure, but I'd still like to see a much better pass rush out of that defense. And
Well,
we haven't seen that. We had 2 guys last year, I think they had 10 sacks. One of them's now in Buffalo, I believe. And the other one doesn't look like they're gonna sign.
right.
So there's nobody left on a team that is, right now, that's been a proven, consistent player that can get to the quarterback.
Well, what's Patriots, maybe the last pass rusher they had was Seymour?
Somewhat.
I mean, how many years?
Well,
I mean, and him when he was in his real heydays, even though he still does well at his age with Oakland. But on the line, you're saying on the defense, I agree with what you're saying on the offense. I believe in stamina a lot. You know, that the longer you get your defense out there, and these offenses, all these teams, they're all machines. All these teams are offensive oriented. So you guys get, not only the players aren't as good as we'd want them to be, but if they're out there for so long, the stamina, they just, all you do is make a fraction of a second mistake,
Yeah.
and it's an 80-yard touchdown. How many, we've known, and there again, I said Seymour, that Patriots have needed it for quite a while, the pass rusher. You put the pressure on the pass rusher, as a pass rusher, your defensive guys, now the guy hurries a pass, defensive guy does his job, he hits a guy on time, intercepts it. All that stuff is one thing helps the other. You don't have that pass rush.
Feeds off of the pass
So,
rush, though.
you know, I mean, I get a kick out of pros, and this is true though. We'll get a pass, a safety or a defensive back, a safety, okay? After he's all of a sudden made a name for himself, a lot of teams won't even throw to his side, correct?
Oh, yeah.
And yet, he still might be great, but you're not even testing him.
Yep.
You don't have to, you don't want to test them no
No.
more.
Well,
So
it's
the
like
Patriots,
the Jets
they test
have that
everybody.
guy.
Yeah,
Revis.
Revis, example, that's all he does is shoot his mouth, and he is a heck of a defensive back, a
Oh.
safety.
I
But,
remember when they had Randy Moss,
yeah,
he could shut Moss down
right,
one-on-one.
but you know, all the pros, coaches will tell you, okay, every team is gonna, they know what they're gonna give you. Once the game is going on, they'll say, you're gonna have to beat me, you're gonna beat me, you're gonna beat me
Yeah, but
this way.
But he took Moss
Yeah,
out without any help.
that's right.
He didn't need double coverage.
I think he was good, and I think Revis did his job, but I think sometimes this trash talk it gets in some guys' heads.
Well,
I think that's just human being.
no, but I think he is. I think and even though he's a Jet, I mean,
Oh God, that's the other thing.
he's the real deal, though.
Between you and I, and in this place here, I'm good. When I talk about things, I'm a fan of baseball, football, hockey. I'm a fan. I see something good. I'm sorry. You and I have had this discussion, the Jeter.
Yeah.
How can anybody say anything bad about Derek Jeter other than he plays for the Yankees? So, I'm not, and it's the same with Revis, as we just said. Other than, yes, same thing. I guess I kind of turn it around sometimes and say, well, we'll say Revis, you do not like. I almost said that word I didn't want to use. Do not like Revis. But he played for you.
You love him.
You love him. And that's the trouble with, I mean, that's everybody's opinion, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
You don't, like we just said, we'll say Jeter, even though I think Boston fans know Jeter.
Oh, yeah.
And they appreciate Jeter.
Yeah.
We said the same thing about Rivera, you and I,
Yeah.
about how many guys can come to a city like Boston, blow for the playoffs, come back the next day on opening day, they announce his name and the fans give him a standing ovation, and he stands there and he smiles, not in defiance, but in smiles. I can't believe these guys. It's thank you very much.
Yeah.
He tipped his hat. Come on, give credit where credit is due. This I don't like this guy. I don't like that guy because he plays for a team that you're rival.
Right.
No, that's fine.
No, but I mean, players like Revis.
Oh, I'm sure
I
this plays on the Patriots.
You can't count on one hand guys that can do what he does.
The fans, when the Patriots became a very contending team, when they, the snowball day, that was the year. 2004, I want to say. It might be sometime. They got all kinds of fans from everywhere, not New England, from everywhere, right? Well, this is the way it happens. Now, there's a lot of fans that hate New England Patriots.
They want too much.
The same way we, or the society, hates the Boston Celtics, the Montreal Canadiens, the New York Yankees. What's the common denominator? They're winners.
Oh, yeah.
And the losers don't like this team being the winners all the time.
I stand the Dallas Cowboys.
There's an example right there.
America's team.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's a lot of PR stuff.
Well, yeah.
Some guy sit in the studio like you and I for half an hour. Hey, let's get some gimmick about our Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, let's make it America's team. Well, the first base team that I thought was America's team because of cable TV and TV itself was the Atlanta Braves. Because every time he turned around,
Ted Turner, yeah.
Ted Turner gave them exposure. They were America's team for a while there.
Yeah. But you can't say the same about the Cubs because you had WGN.
It is still. I watched them last night.
Yeah.
It was a game that
but the thing
Burnett
was,
the Pirates pitched a one-hitter against the Cubs.
Oh, good. I got him on my fantasy league.
Yeah, he pitched a one-hitter.
But I also had Verlander who sucked last night.
Well, he had a bad night.
But
we used to work for a living 100%. You go to work every day feeling chippy? No.
Yeah, well, part of it was his own fault. Walks.
Yeah, and that's not Verlander.
No.
That's not Verlander. So I mean,
but
it was raw. And
anyway, let's get back and finish up on the Patriots. My feeling is the only thing that's going to stop their offense is themselves if they have stupid penalties, drop passes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't see defenses being able to do much against them. Even though they did get to the Super Bowl last year, I still think their defense needs to show improvement or they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Because when it gets to playoffs time, defense becomes more important. I think the New York Giants showed us that, unfortunately.
Yes.
Twice.
Yeah, unfortunately, one game at a time, that's what the trouble is too.
But,
You have 2 out of 3 match rate,
well, yeah.
But that one game at a time.
Twice they did it to the Patriots.
Yeah, I know.
So I still think you can talk offense all you want, but I still think when it gets, it's like other sports. Hockey, you get to the playoffs, defenses tend to tighten up. I think it's similar in football.
Yeah.
That's my take. What about you?
Well, I agree just about with everything that you said. Well, I'm just saying, right now it's just too early. And I've always been a firm believer in any sport of defense. It's the old baseball theory, again, I use stuff like that. I can pitch a no-hitter, and I might lose, but if I pitch a shutout, I can't lose. So it's defense. I'm not saying you could win, but if I pitch a shutout, you're not going to beat me.
Right.
Now, defense has, and all these coaches will tell you, when it comes to crunch time, all year you play 16 games, you can have all your games 40 to 28, 40 to 35, but when it comes to the playoffs, you want that team 10 and under.
Yep.
In defense, in every sport, hockey, like you said, but I think the Patriots, we're not homers. There again, that's it. I'm not a homer when it comes to what I see. If I see something or I don't like something, I just don't look right now. this looks like another 2012-13 season of, if I was, like I said, a fan in Detroit, I'd hate somebody to say, that New England's gonna get, you know, they got a chance to get in that Super Bowl again,
Yeah.
and that's,
But
you know, I think
the
they
thing I
don't,
can't
except for
understand
that one game. at the time.
is, you know, years ago, the Cowboys were anointed America's team. Everybody loved them. They're
Yeah.
selling Cowboys jerseys all over
And
the
the
country.
cheerleaders.
Yeah, maybe that had a lot to do
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
But that never happened with the Patriots. They didn't become America's team.
No, I think that was in the days when the Cowboys did it. That was some ploy, like I say, a PR guy sitting around.
Well, yeah, but if
And
you-
it started, and
people
it's
still have
kind
to-
of now, it's kind of old. You gotta think of
People still have
something
to buy
new.
into
You gotta get somebody else sitting around, like I said. I know a guy, if you want, he can make up sayings like nothing.
Yeah.
Give him an hour. And so,
You know,
but nobody has embraced the Patriots as a, America's team, you're right.
yeah.
When they won the first Super Bowl, that's when I said they grabbed a lot of fans across
Well,
the
they
country.
did, yeah.
New England seems to be a place that people move.
Yeah, it seemed like
So
they,
it's like with the Red Sox fans.
they won too many Super Bowls in a short period
Well,
of time.
it isn't that they won, they're always in them. Just like the New
Yeah.
York Yankees,
Yeah.
and the Montreal Canadiens, and our Boston Celtics of the old days.
Yeah, well, the Canadians haven't done that for a while now.
But so why does people hate the Canadians?
Well, they won too much.
Previously, they're always, it isn't that you win it either.
Yeah.
It's just that you're always there.
Well, a
And
team,
that's why
a team that
people
was
don't
close
like.
to that for a number of years, I think, was Detroit. You know, they would win
In which sport?
in hockey.
Detroit Red Wings, you're right. When I am a little bit older than you, not much, but you're right. I'm probably
Well,
one
it
of the
wasn't
few.
that long ago.
No,
You know, they
but
were
back in
there
the old
year
days
after
too,
year
when it
after
used
year.
to be only 6 teams
Yeah.
in the National Hockey League. The two dominant teams in the National Hockey League back in the 50s and 60s was Montreal Canadiens and Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the other three were the Rangers, the Bruins, and
Blackhawks.
the Blackhawks. 3 American cities and 3 Canadian
Yeah.
cities. But the Blackhawks, and I know we're on hockey, I mean, Blackhawks and Detroit, they're almost Canadian border.
Well, sure.
The only ones that weren't really on the border was Boston and thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they, like you said, Detroit. But if you, how'd you like to live in a city like, I know who's got a professional team that doesn't do well, Kansas City. You know, they got teams,
Yeah.
but they don't get the brass ring. When they do, they go nuts,
Yeah.
which is true.
Yeah.
We get around here, what do you mean the Patriots aren't gonna be going for the Super Bowl? What are you, crazy? The Red Sox aren't
Well,
gonna
we
make the
went through it
playoffs?
for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
the
they've sucked.
Patriots were lousy. for
Yeah,
many
I was
years.
there. I was there.
Red Sox were.
You know my opinion on the
The
Red Sox.
Celtics, after Bird, Parrish, and McHale
The big three.
left, they were a terrible team for
Yeah.
a lot of years. The Bruins, you know, there was a big drought between Stanley Cups. What,
Very good.
40 years, something like that?
Yeah, right.
But they had some fun teams back. I mean, when I was in my 20s, when they had Orr and Esposito, Jerry Cheevers, and you know, Johnny McKenzie and Johnny Busick, Ken Hodge, you could go, Wayne Caston,
Stanfield.
Derek Sanderson, I mean, you could just go on and on and on. They weren't winning, but they were
They
still
were very
fun
entertaining.
teams. Well, they used to outdraw the Celtics, even though the Celtics were winning
Well,
pennants
Right.
or titles, and the Bruins weren't. The guy would fill up more for the Bruins than they would for the Celtics.
It was, right, and in the same venue, meaning size, actually, basketball held more, a little bit more, because, you know, it was than a rink. But hockey, and I'll go back to my young age, we'll use 1950 as an example, so that's 60 years, okay, and I'm a little bit older than that. Hockey has always been a Boston sport.
Yeah.
Baseball was always second. Football, forget it. Pro. For years and years and years, pros, they didn't even be, you know, colleges maybe, but pros. We're talking pros. And basketball had great teams, but they didn't support them except for playoffs.
Right.
People didn't support them, but they all supported the Bruins. And I don't know if it was because it was the violence of the game in those days. You know, the gallery gods up there, and I mean, these are old cliches, the gallery gods up there. That was a group, like you just said, when you were 20.
Yeah, but I think the violence may be even worse now. Back then, they didn't have helmets, they didn't have this. Except for somebody like Teddy Green or something,
right.
They really whacked each other with a stick.
Right, right, exactly. That was just a separate.
Now they do some pretty horrendous stuff out there.
Well, these kids, if you go even like when you brought up hockey, the local here right in this area, last year's Vaughan High School hockey coach is a in-between of being retired professional hockey player. Do you ever really look at the size of these kids now? These kids are not, hockey players were, and I'm not knocking you, in the old days, your size. They were not these big bruises, all of them. These kids are big, they're fast,
yep.
And all the equipment they're making is light.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a protective, but it's like hitting 2 cars at 30 miles an hour. What damage is that going to do to your cars?
Yeah.
These hockey players, like you said, it's worse now than the old days. Size, they're all, I mean, I've seen this kid, and I can't believe, I'm talking, like I said, the one local, the coach. He's a monster, and he's not even a superstar, but he's a good hockey player.
Yeah.
But, you know.
No, I think it's the same with football.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
They use their helmets as weapons.
Right.
Didn't do that in the old days because you kill yourself.
Yeah.
And
the same thing, they're bigger and stronger in football.
yeah, and faster.
And now when they use the old theory of the 30 miles an hour, 2 cars hitting each other, you got your body.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got some of these linemen, especially the defensive linemen, you know, that might tip the scales at 300. The offensive linemen almost all go 300 or a little better.
Yeah.
But the scary thing is these guys can move.
Yes,
and you know, I wouldn't want one. You know, I wouldn't want to be in a race with one of those guys chasing my ass around.
Right. Well, we're talking football, and what you said. I'll give you an example even locally. You know, because it's all grades. But I know a football player in the local area of the Cape and New Bedford area. This kid was a running back, and he just ran circles around everybody in the local high school, Pop Warners. Then he went to high school. Got a full boat at the time to BU as a football player at that time.
Not exactly football power.
No, but back in, you know, as a good college, and he had a full boat, right?
Yeah.
He quit in 2 weeks when he went to BU at football practice. You know why?
Because he was getting killed.
Because people were hitting him. The kid's never been hit since he was 8 years old. Now all of a sudden he goes in high school, and I can still see him running in the fields in the local here, and nobody could touch him in high school. Now he goes to college, and this is back in the 90s, okay? And you're talking about the kid, the lineman. These guys were as fast as he was, and then, boom!
Yeah, and they wait.
Oh my God, he says,
yeah,
what is that? You're not supposed to hit me like that.
Yeah, they weigh 50% more than he does.
And that wasn't a one-time game. That was every time he got hit.
Yeah. All right.
So,
hey, let's finish the Red Sox.
Okay, we'll get your Red Sox.
All right. Well, we don't have a whole lot of time left.
What do we got for time, just out of curiosity?
Well, you know, I really don't know because I didn't press the button hard enough.
Oh, I saw you make a little expression a little while ago.
Yeah, that was a oh.
Yeah, I saw you make the expression. So okay.
So
Well, you know,
I'm guessing because I didn't pay any attention to the real time when we
probably
started.
got I'd say another 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I think I did look at the clock. It was,
Yeah, because
I don't know. We'll gauge about 12 minutes.
All right. So.
Go ahead. We got your Red Sox.
Well, they didn't do a whole lot at the trade deadline.
No.
Minor deal, got rid of Albers, which was fine with me. I didn't like him anyway.
Center.
Yeah, I thought he could have been useful, but
His numbers killed him.
But-
Meaning they've got too many guys like you said.
Well, it's like he can steal bases, he's still faster.
Gotta get on base to steal bases.
But he was, except he got
But he's
hurt.
not gonna get his chance with Boston. No.
But, so, I mean, all right, they made one minor move.
Right.
They won the second game against Detroit, so they're 2 games over 500. This is again Wednesday, August 1st, we're talking. They still got to climb over, I think, maybe 17. Now they're 4 games out, but I've been harping for I don't know how long that it's not so much how many games out they are from the wild card. It's how many teams they've got to
Climb over.
Right. Now, what's the chances of out of those 7 teams that 6 of them are going to go in the toilet?
Right, 6 are going to belly up, so you could pass.
Probably not.
Right.
So it's still a tough road to hoe. I would like to see them start planning for next year.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like to do, I mean, the pitching coach situation has become a joke. They're on their 3rd pitching coach in 3 years. The guy they had last year, he was only with them for 1 year because he came after John Farrell left.
Farrell was probably their last best.
Yeah, well, he left to manage Toronto. So then they had, I think it was Kurt Young, came from Oakland. 1 year with the Red Sox, he's back with Oakland. Now, Oakland's got, I mean, they're one of the teams that's in the lead for the wild card. They've got excellent pitching.
Yeah, Moneyball blow.
But, but he wasn't good enough that the Red Sox wanted to keep him. So now they've got this McClure and somebody else.
When you said he wasn't good enough, it's got
Yeah.
a dig to the Red Sox organization? Yeah. Okay, no, I'm just trying to follow you, that's all.
So now they got McClure and they brought in some other guy. So they almost have like dueling pitching coaches, which is ridiculous.
Definitely.
So I'd say, whether it be now or definitely at the end of the year, they're all gone, the pitching coaches.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind them bringing Veritek in, if not as a pitching coach, at least as a consultant.
Consultant, right. I heard you say that.
And, you know, the other thing too is, you know, there was some talk about they might move Saltamonte. He's got a real poor on-base percentage and stuff like that. But, I mean, this is his first full year as a starting catcher. I think you got to give the guy a little bit of time before you give up on him.
Well, you got to give a guy a good 3 years of playing ball before you give it up on people.
Yeah. I mean, there aren't that many, for some reason, good catchers around. So you can't just give him away. But I'd like to see them start preparing. I'd like to see maybe if they've got anybody in the minors. Now, they could trade Beckett, but that doesn't mean they still can't.
No.
Because there'll be a waiver.
Right. Money's killing them.
Right.
Other teams taking it.
Yeah.
Somebody will take it, the Red Sox will say, okay, we'll pay this amount.
But you know what? I wouldn't mind moving him for prospects.
Yeah,
I mean,
in the minor league, in other words, get rid of them. But there again, even they do that, I think that these other baseball's built.
No, but these prospects have got to be, as far as they can figure at that point in time, legitimate, decent prospects, AAA or at worst AA level, and see if you can move him for 2 or 3 of those. Lackey, I mean, who knows?
The arm surgery might work, might not.
Well, you know, but he's got an attitude problem too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's super popular and he might also be a little bit of a cancer, you know, in that clubhouse. But I think his contract situation is even worse than Beckett's.
Right.
So they might be stuck with him next year, and maybe they could live with him. But, you know, I'd like to see some more starts out of Franklin Morales. Let's see what we've got.
So in other words, you're, right now, at this time of the year, and there again, we're just starting the month of August, you want to give up on the majority of your veterans, not all of them.
No.
I mean, You wanna see some, like I said to you before, you gotta give guys chances to see how they're gonna do.
And I'm not saying,
Like you said,
throw,
Morales for one.
I'm not saying throw in the towel on the
Right.
season, but is he gonna do worse than Beckett has? Probably not.
No, probably
So
not.
let's give him a few regular turns in a rotation. I mean, he's a left-handed starter. They've got Dubron, left-handed starter, and they've got Lester, left-handed
He's just,
starter.
Lester's having a bad year for
Right.
Lester.
But,
He's mechanically doing
well,
something wrong and
it's
they're,
a bad year for anybody,
correct.
so you got potentially 3 left-handed starters.
Yeah,
Teams,
and that's not
teams will cut off their
normal.
left nut.
That is not a normal thing.
So, let's say you think all 3 of them can do the job. You wanna make a trade. You telling me you can't get some good value for a left-handed starter, in a trade?
Yeah.
If need be. Gotta make sure you trade the right one, though, if you do.
Well,
Or worst comes to worst, you keep them all. And, you've got Buckholz, Lester, Dubron, Morales, and throw Lackey in there.
well,
There's your 5 starters,
and
maybe.
these are all guys that you know of.
Right,
Do they have, like, you could make a trade and get some young kids,
yeah.
and you might have some in the minor league system, give them a shot. Because, a lot of times in the minor league system, it's a little deceiving when you pitch in the minor leagues and your ERA is a little higher.
Yeah.
But then you come to the pros and your ERA is now as reasonable because you got ball players behind you where in the minors,
Yeah,
they make, they give teams 4 outs, which common
Yeah.
sense me, because it's the minors.
right.
The fields are not immaculate. So sometimes, your pitchers get and the organization's gotta know that. I know that. If I know that, the organizations don't look at,
Well,
You know, I
you'd
mean-
like to think so.
well, you would
But
say, well, no,
sometimes-
we watch this kid pitch and he's pitching good, but, the defense,
Well, hey, I can't understand why, Morales had a few starts, did okay.
yeah,
And, he's buried in the bullpen right now.
right.
And what the hell?
But you're right on the 2 lefties, is that,
But,
if any team has 2, that's a lot, starts.
yeah,
That's
but
a lot.
I would like to see them move Beckett for good prospects. Because this should,
And somebody will take them for good prospect.
yeah.
And the money
Yeah.
is something.
And, the other guy, unfortunately, I don't know where you put him right now. I'd like to see Iglesias come up and see what he can do, given some regular playing time for an extended period. The problem is, this Siriaco guy is almost,
Shortstop.
huh?
Siriaco, the shortstop?
Yeah, paid, well, he can play second too.
Well, okay.
But he's come up, and you almost can't take him out of the darn line.
Right.
So in order to get Iglesias some time, you'd have to sit Pedroia, which I don't think will fly very well.
That won't fly, maybe 3-4 years.
Because
Maybe he gets a little older.
with Siriaco, you almost can't take him out, because, what's your reward for doing well? Well, you get to sit on a bench.
Well, sometimes in
so
the
you-
pros, you
but
gotta
I
wait
like-
your turn.
But I'd like to see what Iglesias can do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Plus, they got some kid in the minors they claim is the next upcoming shortstop.
Well, the thing is Iglesias, I mean, he can feel
Is it
like,
Iglesias?
he can feel like a
Okay,
vacuum
okay, I'm
cleaner.
sorry, I have to say that. But
He can feel like crazy. He
you
has
gotta
a
get
hard-
that, you gotta get the on-hands
But the thing is,
short training.
he has a hard time hitting his weight.
Well, he might make it, he might not. But you gotta give him a shot, but like you just
So
said.
right now, the Siriaco
Well, I
surprising
think the Red
daylights out of
Sox-
everybody.
I think the Red Sox team itself that's part of the problem. So, say out of, how many kids on the roster now, 25 or 30?
Yeah, 20.
25? They're all professionals. They're all good ball players. Well, I look at it this way. I'm over here, and they're professionals.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not in there,
All
so
right.
if I was that
By
good,
definition.
I would be sitting here, and, they're in the
All
professional
right, by
ranks.
definition.
But I think, it's like, the Red Sox have,
I mean,
and I don't wanna use the word too much talent, but it's just like you just said on the shortstop. If you take him out, yet does he warrant to come out? I mean, you can only put 9 guys out in the field.
right, but Siriaco might be a good guy to have on your team instead of Punta.
Right.
Let him be your utility infielder.
Okay, I know, yeah.
Punta,
But, it's just like.
and Avila's the same thing. Avila's had a hot start, cooled off, now he's hurt. He's your third baseman of the future, your shortstop of the future.
Right.
So, you can let him go.
But like we just said about the trade too, sometimes some of these guys, if they sit on the bench like Pathetic, we just said, that, right now, he's probably happy he's been traded because he might get a chance
Maybe.
with another team.
Yeah, and he's
You
not
know-
spring chicken either.
No, but a lot of these guys, when they get traded, it isn't the worst thing in the world,
No.
because if there's so many bodies that you can't get in there.
Oh, yeah.
We just said, Pedroia, if you're a second baseman in the Red Sox organization,
You're not happy.
no, where do you think you're gonna go? I mean, we'll just say Pedroia has another, we're just making it up, another 8 years. And I'm not, so are you gonna go up there and play for the Boston Red Sox as a second baseman?
Well,
So-
if you're a minor leaguer, you don't have a choice, but.
Yeah, so you go to another, get to another team, let your waivers go and all that stuff, so.
All right,
we
well, I say start rebuilding.
Right? Yeah.
Start working on it now.
Yeah.
So, but I think we gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think we got it.
Well, put it this way, yeah, we've probably got enough that
All right.
we're
So,
short.
hey, we're gonna be back next week,
Yeah,
same time, same place. Find us on Facebook. Facebook, you can just go Duke the Sports. You can check out stuff that is posted there. You can add your comments. A lot of fun. See us there. Tell your friends. You can go to sandwichtv.org and follow the links. They're real easy. You can find all of our shows there. So we look forward to seeing you next week. Paul?
yeah, and I'd like to say on sports, play sports. If you can't play sports, be a sport.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Okay, have a good day.
Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod is proud to support Community TV. Some of the refreshing and satisfying products offered by Coca-Cola are Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Sprite, Fanta, Dr. Pepper, and Moxie. 125 years and still teaching the world to sing.
Kinlan Grover Real Estate sells and lists more property than any other real estate company on Cape Cod and is pleased to support community television and the Dukes of Sports.
Heritage Floor Covering supports community television and is located in Heritage Park off Route 130 Sandwich. When you look down, we look good. Carpet, vinyl, tile, and laminates. Sales, service, and installation with 40 years experience.
The Sagamore Inn, 1131 Route 6A in Sagamore, is happy to support community television. We are open for lunch and dinner every day and specialize in Italian-American cuisine, fresh native seafood, and specials.
Sandwich Animal Hospital, 492 Route 6A in East Sandwich, is pleased to support community television. We are accredited by the American Animal Hospital Association and offer surgery, dentistry, general, and preventative care. Appointments are available Monday through Saturday, 508-888-2774. Feel free to visit our website.
Sandwich Car Wash is easy to find on Route 130 Sandwich near Coca-Cola, 1.5 miles off Route 6, Exit 2. Save even more with our 1 or 3 month passes for unlimited state-of-the-art washes. We invite you to visit our website, sandwichcarwash.com, open daily.
125 years and still teaching the world to sing. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod is proud to support the Dukes of Sports. Some of the products offered by Coca-Cola that you can enjoy are Dasani Water, Powerade, Minute Maid juices, vitamin water, Fuse, V8, and Honest Tea.
With 15 offices from the Canal to Provincetown, our experienced and professional agents get the job done, whether you are buying or selling. We also offer summer vacation rentals and can assist in mortgage financing, serving the most buyers and sellers across the entire Cape. Check us out at kinlandgrover.com.
Heritage Floor Covering supports the Dukes of Sports and has a spacious and extensive showroom to browse through. Cheryl and Russell are fully insured and offer free estimates. We sell the best and you pay less. 508-833-7600.
The Sagamore Inn is pleased to support the Dukes of Sports. Feel free to visit our website, sagamoreincapecod.com, for our full menu, catering, and directions. Ask us how you can get a free meal on your next birthday. 508-888-9707.
Dr. Leslie Harmon of Sandwich Animal Hospital, 508-888-2774, gladly supports the Dukes of Sports. We offer lifetime care for dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, rabbits, and more with an on-site diagnostic laboratory, complete pharmacy, medical diets, microchipping, professional grooming, and flea bath appointments. 508-888-8225.
Sandwich Car Wash, Route 130, also does detailing. Express detail in half an hour or less while you wait, or the works by appointment at 508-833-1522, where you can arrange to use Bubbles, our courtesy car. Gift cards available as well. Make a unique gift.